the last Friday of the month, which would only mean one thing. It's AvaTalk, everyone's favorite monthly series, where your hosts from Avatar the podcast go through their mailbox and talk about something that someone mentioned once or twice. Starting us off this evening, we have the one, the only Acorn Bandit. There she is. Remind me to unmute her. There we go. Everyone's favorite Katara in the real world. Yes. She's like, okay, take it, let's go. Let's move it along, Greg. We got things to do. And me, Booster Greg. Hello. Hey, ho. You're looking handsome. You're looking beautiful. You're looking great. Let's cut that off.
All right. Welcome in, everyone. Are we still clapping? It's enough. We're here. Everything's fine. Hello, everyone. Welcome to AvaTalk. Thank you all so much for coming in. We super appreciate each and every one of you being here right now.
Hello, welcome.
Hello. So, we went through the mailboxes. We found a really cool topic that I think everyone who is an Avatar The Last Airbender fan has been really chewing on for the past, how many months would you say, Acorn?
Oh gosh, since February?
Yeah.
March?
Yes, well, I think they've heard enough of me. I've recently gotten feedback that I talk too much. So...
Not true.
Acorn, please lead us into this month's, and this is the third, I think, AvaTalk?
The fourth,
actually. I blacked out the third one. The fourth. Wow. Okay. Well, lead us into the fourth ever AvaTalk.
We are 4 episodes into AvaTalk. So it's been 6 months since the last mega news from the Avatar world, which is the inception of Avatar Studios. And one of our listeners wrote in asking what our thoughts, hopes, ideas, where we want it to go, basically anything about the new content coming out of Avatar Studios. So I thought that'd be a fun topic for us to talk about today, because we can really get in there and brainstorm about all the options that they have story-wise from Avatar. And actually, I will say we are going to be covering Avatar The Last Airbender today. Not so much Korra, just because we haven't gotten there yet in the podcast.
Yeah.
So all of the show ideas we're going to talk about are going to be either pre-Avatar The Last Airbender, during, or post, before Korra.
Yes. And that shouldn't be a surprise to, I think, anyone who listens to the podcast. That's Avatar the podcast. If you've never heard of it before, I don't know why you're here right now, but that's what it is. And we've been trying to stay away from a lot of the heavy spoilers. And that includes stuff that we even know that happens. Because, again, we never watched or never finished Korra, is what I should say. Mm-hmm. And we haven't even read the comics yet. We're going to be remedying that real soon, which I'm very excited about.
Really soon.
I am
psyched.
Yes. So get pumped about that. Okay. So Avatar Studios. What do we know so far?
Well, so far, we know that Avatar Studios will produce a wide range of Avatar-inspired content, ranging from spin-offs and theatricals, also short form. And it has been announced that the first project that they are going to be tackling is going to be an animated theatrical film. They're going to start production this year. Additional details will be out soon. More than likely, it's going to be available sometime next year, possibly 2023, with everything going on in the world.
No,
who
come
knows?
on. 2022. Come on.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed.
More Avatar content. Yeah.
Yes.
But since this is still relatively new news, and listeners may not have heard the interviews that took place between Brian and Michael, and also the president of Viacom's Kids and Family group under Nickelodeon, I thought it'd be cool to give a little focus on that first, and maybe read some of the quotes that came from them as they were talking about Avatar Studios.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the first one comes from Brian Robbins, who is the president of Viacom CBS Kids and Family. And he says, Avatar The Last Airbender and Korra have grown at least tenfold in popularity since their original hit runs on Nickelodeon. And we are incredibly excited to have Mike and Brian's genius talent on board to helm a studio devoted to expanding their characters and world into new content and formats for fans everywhere. Creator-driven stories and characters have long been the hallmarks of Nickelodeon, and Avatar Studios is a way to give Mike and Brian the resources and runway to open up their imaginations even more and dive deeper into the action and mythology of Avatar as we simultaneously expand upon that world and the world of content available on both Paramount Plus and Nickelodeon, which is where the content's going to be airing.
Yes. Like, think of how excited Mike and Brian, or as I like to affectionately call them, Bryke. Imagine how excited Bryke are right now. This is the time of the creator, for sure.
I can't imagine. This is 19 years coming? Almost 20 years since Avatar was created.
Yes.
Like, they must be so psyched. And also, we know the debacle about the live action Netflix original.
Yeah.
We know how that went down.
Yeah.
How Mike and Brian left that project because of creative differences or whatever. So just the fact that we have this executive, this president, bringing in Mike and Brian and saying, you know what? We got a runway. We got the resources. We're going to give you everything.
You know
Mike
what?
and Brian, go for it.
I like money. Do your thing. That's what happened.
Also,
that's probably what happened.
That's also part of it.
If we're being honest with ourselves. But it's fine. It's okay. It's going to be more content. It's not just going to be animation. If there's going to be other avenues, I would imagine more comics is what I'm thinking. Maybe some live action stuff, some shorts. Maybe I'm hoping for some audio, nice like audio books or like, I almost said podcast. I want to say podcast, but I choked on my words because I was like, that's competition kind of. But yes, I would love something to like listen to at night and just like go to bed listening of tales from the Avatar universe. So we'll see what happens.
I have watched Avatar The Last Airbender so many times. I am so ready to watch the new content as many times.
Yes,
you can be sure I'm going to binge like I've never binged before.
And I think I'm getting more excited, and I feel like this may be the case for you as well, Acorn. I'm getting more excited as we're getting closer to the end of Aang's journey with us. And it's just like, it's really kind of hitting home that we have like 4 or 5 more episodes left to record. And that's it for Aang in terms of the series. There's still going to be some comics and stuff like that. But in terms of hearing Aang's voice and hearing Sokka and Katara and Zuko and Appa and all the wonderful one and Toph, who can forget Toph? I almost did. But it's like, we're going to continue their journeys, but we're not going to hear those voices for a while. So
I don't think it actually hit me until this very moment. We have 5 or so episodes left of season 3 of book 3, guys.
Yeah.
We're almost done. That's
milestone.
Crazy. All right. Well, we're going to move on and not think about that anymore. So I don't have an existential crisis live on Twitch.
And then you have to listen to me for 45 more minutes.
We're going to move on to another quote, this one from Brian and Mike themselves, talking about their excitement going into the Avatar Studios project. They said, "It's hard to believe it's been 19 years since we created Avatar The Last Airbender. But even after all that time, there are still many stories and time periods in Aang's world that we are eager to bring to life. We are fortunate to have an ever-growing community of passionate fans that enjoy exploring the Avatar verse as much as we do. And with this new Avatar Studios venture, we have an unparalleled opportunity to develop our franchise and its storytelling on a vast scale in myriad exciting ways and mediums. We are exceedingly grateful to Brian Robinson and Ramsey Nato for their enthusiasm and respect for the Avatar property and us as its stewards. From the start, they supported our ambition plans ambitious plans and created a positive, proactive environment for us. We're excited to be back at Nickelodeon, where Avatar began, doing what we do best in the biggest way possible. We can't wait to build the great teams and productions to make all of this fantasy a reality.
So really, really quickly before you go on, I just want to give everyone like a timestamp on this because they mentioned 19 years, right? The series, if you're doing that, feeling like that sounds like a lot more time than I thought. The series did debut 15 years ago. However, or is it 16 now? 2005. So 16 years ago. But you have to keep in mind the inception of the idea. They worked on it quite a bit before it even debuted. So they worked on this for 3 or 4 years before it even saw the light of day, before you saw the episode, before I saw the episode, before anyone saw an episode, except for
before anyone saw the pilot,
before anyone even, before in that pilot too, the unaired pilot that had work to be done on it as well. So that's that. Yeah. They didn't they didn't add on years to make it sound more impressive. It's that full work schedule.
From the creator's position, it's been 19 years, which is wild. I also can't help but read between the lines a little bit and notice all of the props they gave Nickelodeon, being like, it's great to be back at Nickelodeon, where we belong, where we're appreciated, well, we're listened to.
You gotta feel bad for Brian and Mike because they've been through the ringer twice now. And
with Shyamalan's movie, and then now with the Netflix live action.
So it's like they're really cautious now. They're really keeping up their guard. They're playing the politics with this quote, which I can dig, but you can tell that there is some form of like, okay, we know Nickelodeon, we know how they work. You know, we've been seeing like the trends with it. So, and we have all of this fan backup now. So maybe they'll leave us alone a little bit. And they did have a pretty good experience with Netflix as well. Not with Avatar, obviously, but with The Dragon Prince, which I believe I haven't seen it yet, but it's a Netflix exclusive. So that's probably how that got there. And then Netflix, I wonder what that's going to mean for Dragon Prince.
Well, it's from the creators of Avatar, so I don't think it's directly related. I know Aaron Ehas is the head writer.
Well, I mean, just the relationship between Netflix and now that team. A little strained, maybe.
A little strained.
Anyways, stay tuned in 15 years for Dragon Prince, the podcast. That's not what this is right now, but it was just a thought. And something I didn't mention on the episode, I forgot. I just had in my notes. I completely just spaced on it. When they were recording the commentary for book 3, The Last Airbender hadn't failed yet. So they said something. No. It was something along the lines of, you know, if Shyamalan ever gets a book 3 or ever gets to, you know, whatever, like it was that kind of like hopeful glee in their voice. And I was like, oh, you fools. Oh, you naive fools.
Oh, you
don't even know. You don't even know. I felt bad for him.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That's the most uncomfortable thing to watch. Right? Watch people react to things before they knew.
Yeah.
When you look back, oh gosh, so uncomfortable.
Yeah, I know. Well, anyways, the theme of this episode is show content ideas, right, that we want to see coming out of Avatar Studios. And
we're going to brainstorm.
Yes.
And theorize.
Yes. Improve upon each other's ideas, potentially, in the next 30 or so minutes. So buckle in. And I am kind of keeping an eye on chat. I know I'm not super great at it when we're live on this because I'm also thinking about the YouTube audience. Hey, YouTube audience, how you doing? It's me, Greg. You bet I forgot about you, but I didn't. You're looking great too. Anyways, that wasn't for you, chat. That was for future watchers. So let's go with the first idea.
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah. Also, just to reiterate, we're going to keep in mind the intention of Avatar Studios, which is to create content that will range from spin-offs to theatrical releases and short form. So the ideas that we've come up with, the preliminary ideas, we'll probably expand on these and add to them. Those ideas fit in one of those 3 mediums.
Yes, I muted myself. I forgot I did that because I feel a tickle in the back of my throat, Acorn. I think we're gonna get a repeat of episode 1. I think.
You want to know why I'm drinking tea right now? Because I felt a tickle.
Oh no. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we got a list of ideas here. Let's go through them.
We do.
And I got something.
Let's
right?
actually start on the bottom.
Okay.
Just because
changing it up.
fandoms in chat is shouting from the rooftops their top idea, which is the adult gang. And the reason I want to start here is because we haven't finished book 3 yet. So we don't quite know, according to the podcast, where the gang ends up. But I will acknowledge that, yes, I would love to see some content come out of Avatar Studios featuring the gang that we know and love as adults. So I am right there with you.
Yes.
That absolutely made the list.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. I want to see that gap between Avatar: The Last Airbender and Korra, where we had all those, if I remember correctly, we have some like touches on flashbacks and stuff like that, but we never actually see it. I want to see that. I want to see friendships blossom. I want to see relationships change. I want to see more boomerang. I want to see what happens to Sokka's crazy sword, his comet sword, his meteor sword. I want to see all of that. So
yeah, exactly. Yeah. That is what I am mostly signing up for. And yeah, we see some of it in the comics, but beyond the comics, like we know Sokka and Zuko become really good friends as adults, and they go off and do things for the world. We know that Toph has children. Small spoilers.
But
minor. How does all that happen? I don't know. I want to see it.
Yeah, for sure. Ooh, that's a good thing you just highlighted right there. Azula's redemption arc. Wow.
I just want to touch on that because, again, we haven't finished book 3. This is all future stuff. But I would love to see Azula's redemption arc.
I don't like Azula, so whatever.
How did I know you're going to react like that? You're not an Azula fan yet.
No.
Yet.
I mean, she has 4 or 5 episodes to really win me over now. And she there's been points where I dug her, like in the Day of Black Sun Part 2. I really dug that Azula. Really cool. Just kept her composure the whole time, was toying with her food essentially. Really good stuff. Yeah.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. All right.
Let's now start at the top, and now we can go into some details because I think these are some really cool ideas.
Yes.
Our first one.
Yeah.
I imagine to be another show, but in the bite-sized version that sometimes shows are. I don't know the technical term, but those shows that are 15 minutes, 10 minutes long. It's like a vignette.
Yeah.
Small little story arc. I want to see one of those about Uncle Iroh's tea shop and his adventures.
I would love that. So this is what I would love. Yes, 110% this. I would love it as like you said, small little bite-size little adventure that we see, a little moment in life. Maybe it's not even adventure. Maybe it's just a slice of life. Just a day in the life of Iroh in his tea shop. And now that I'm thinking about it, it could be at the end of the credits of an episode or a movie or something like that, and you have to watch all of the other things to really get the full story.
Oh,
that'd be a really cool way to make people like me who, I'll watch Azula's redemption arc, but I don't really care, and maybe I don't stay all the way through the credits. It'd be a good way to get me sticking around for that. So I think it'd be really cool. And even put it into things like the comics, put a little adventure in there, a little something. That's really cool.
There's a lot of opportunities, and I kind of picture it like the Tale of Iroh from the Tales of Ba Sing Se. Kind of like that, where it's the whole story in the Tales of Ba Sing Se for Iroh is he goes around the town, or the city, he meets people. Those people he meets have certain ties to Liu Ten, and they remind him of his son. And then at the very end, he goes to his son's, not so much grave, but to a hilltop to think about him. And I don't know the technical term, pay homage.
Just really honor his son, I think.
Yeah, honor. Yeah. That's a better word.
Yeah.
He honors his son. So kind of in that vein, but instead still be in Ba Sing Se, but in the Jasmine Dragon. And I can just imagine Iroh like teaching people how to make tea, setting people up romantically. Maybe he sees like a young guy and a young girl in the tea shop, and he's like, and does something cute to like bring them together. I don't know, like adopting a cute pet that hangs out around the tea shop.
I was just thinking that, like a stray like lemur, flying lemur that's just like hangs out in the back room or like in the back alley, and he like brings it little fruits and teas and stuff.
Yeah,
that'd be really cool.
There's so many opportunities, and everyone loves Iroh, so you know it'd be good content. It'd be good fun.
Yeah. From chat right now, Tina is saying maybe something with the supporting characters, like what happens to Haru. I hope what happens to Haru is he shaves in his future. That's what I hope.
Me too.
Yeah. Okay, so here's one of mine. It's not on the list, but I have like 3 ideas right now.
Okay.
This is the first one. The Cabbage Chronicles.
Absolutely. I don't know how I didn't put that on the list, but yes.
I want to see all of the like Rosenbaum and Gilden's. I'm messing the name up. I did it on the podcast too. We had to do extensive research, but that like Shakespeare like idea where it's that background character that weaves through all of the adventures of like the main heroes, but we see it from his perspective, from the cabbage merchant. I think that'd be so cool. It'd be really funny. It'd be a mini series. It'd be like 6 episodes max, and make them like full episodes and really see like what happened to him during the adventures, what happened to him afterwards, and maybe even flash forward and do like a much more beyond, maybe even past Korra, and see like what impact he had on the universe as a whole.
Yes. Oh my God. I love that idea so much. Also, especially because we talked about this on the podcast. It's a mild spoiler for Korra, but the cabbage merchant goes on to build this empire called Cabbage Corps, which you see in the world of Korra. So he has a legacy. He gets there in the end. He finally gets his dream fulfilled with his cabbages. I think it'd be funny if he didn't. It was like a Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak scenario where like the cabbage merchant is the Wozniak, and like sure people know him, but really like this other business partner kind of like stepped into the spotlight and just like maybe fleeced him out of all of his money or most of his money. And it would end with him in a dark room sitting alone, just saying, "My cabbages." And that would be just distraught and depressed. It would be full circle. It would be beautiful. Okay, but like if this doesn't happen, we need to somehow make this happen. Like Kickstarter, I don't know.
We'll figure it out.
It's got to be a thing.
We'll give them a chance, and then we'll fund it ourselves. We'll figure it out. It'll be funny.
Yep. Okay. Next idea.
Next one.
It's a little bit more on a serious side because Roku is one of the most impactful characters in Avatar: The Last Airbender, and he gets 20 minutes of backstory.
Yeah.
We do get to see him growing up in the Fire Nation, him being friends with Sozin, him falling in love, becoming the Avatar, and all of those things. But I would like to see something more. I'm not entirely sure how. Maybe a theatrical?
I think a novel. I think like what they did with Kyoshi. I think keep that consistency going. Like we'll learn about past avatars, and I say this now, but whenever we get to like Kuruk, and I'm just like, no, movie, 4 seasons of a series minimum. I want all of that Avatar in front of my eyeballs right now. But I think honestly, like the business decision would be to make them novels, so that way it would look nice on your bookshelf for the collectors. I think that's the way to go about it.
I think regardless, I would love to have a book series for each avatar. So Kyoshi, Kuruk, Roku, Yang Chen. And I'd be good with them. Honestly, I'd be good with those 4. Yeah. I mean, just give me all the Kuruk all the time. Surprisingly, that's not on my list of 3 things that I thought of for this. But it could be. It could be maybe the 4th. Just give me more Kuruk. That's all I want in my life. Like, he's so cool. Oh my God. My God. I beg to disagree, but that's fine. We will.
He's the best.
But we've been over this. Not a fan. But that's okay.
He was just looking for a good time, and then he found it, and he put a ring on it. Well, tried to put a ring on it and then kind of failed because the spirits got in the way.
He did.
Talk about divine intervention. The Avatar Playboy tries to settle down and the universe is like, no, you shall party. And then he goes, no, I'm just going to go find her.
Yeah. It's like that moment you always see in movies where they're at the altar and it's like, does anyone object to this union? And the universe is like, yes. Actually, all of us do here in the spirit world. So she's coming with us. Yep.
Anyways.
Well, you will be happy to know I did think of you and I did add Kuruk to this list.
Yay.
While he's not my favorite past Avatar, I do think there's some opportunity there for a story. I think it'd be cool to see, and mostly for a lot of the past Avatars, it's seeing the Avatar world at different times, different eras. So for Roku, I would love to see what the Fire Nation was like before the 100-Year War. I would love to see just what it was like living there, what it was like being friends with Sozin, becoming the Avatar, training and traveling, unlike a little differently than what Aang did. Maybe something really major happened when he was the Avatar. We didn't get to see what kinds of things he did in his Avatar duties during that 20-minute episode. But who knows? Maybe he did some pretty cool stuff. We wouldn't know.
I think Kuruk's bread and butter lies after he dies and is in the spirit world and is doing that fight to find his wife. Or his fiance.
So yes, let's hop over to Kuruk now, because similarly, Kuruk lived at a different time period. Obviously, he's a waterbender, so we could see what the Northern Water Tribe and the Southern Water Tribe were like, because this would have been before the Southern Water Tribe fell, so we get to see that culture potentially. But yeah, we could see his Playboy qualities, him making the rounds around the world.
We're going to talk about many other things besides Kuruk, but I'm just going to come back to Kuruk every time. Like, my brain is hyper fixated on him now. So sorry, everyone.
Right.
If you wanted quality content, we're going to be talking about Kuruk for the next 20 minutes. Just kidding. Anyways. I think his, the time period in which he lived in is very interesting because we don't know a lot about it. But I also think that, the tragedy of Avatar Kuruk is where he needs to be, where it's just him fighting through the spirit world after ages and ages and ages, generations pass, and he's still looking for her. And then it ends at the events of Escape from the Spirit World, I think. And then we see him meet Aang, and then he goes off to maybe go find her. We can go tragic on this one and say that even though he finds her, he still fails and has to start all the way at the beginning, like Dark Souls, and fight his way through.
Oh, wow. That would be...
It's like Greek tragedy stuff right there.
That is a Greek tragedy.
Yeah.
That is one of the things that attracted me to the idea of having Kuruk as a story, because he experiences life as an avatar, but then also experiences this huge tragedy by losing his love to the Spirit Co. And we do see, like you mentioned, him finding out from Aang in Escape from the Spirit World what happened to her. So he goes off, and all we can imagine is he goes off and tries to save her. What I'm wondering, though, is if Ko stole her face, what happened to her body? Because then we could have a whole sub-story there where he has to not only get her face back from Ko, but also find her spirit wandering the spirit world, reunite them, and then also get out of the spirit world somehow.
Would he not have to get the body first? What's he going to do with the face?
Well, I guess, yeah.
Attach it to his hand? That's weird. His shoulder?
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah. That'd be kind of cool. Or I don't know, maybe it's just they go a little more abstract and it's just the essence of her. And then he has to escape with that or something to that. I don't know. Bryke will figure it out if they go this route. But I think that and it's no secret, I really want to see more Kuruk and more of the other avatars too. Yang Chen, I really did enjoy. She was really cool. Just a very noble presence for what little we saw of her.
Yes. It's probably no surprise then that Yang Chen did make my list.
Yeah.
I have all the major avatars. But again, for the same reasons, Yang Chen, if we had a story about her, we could experience the air temples before the genocide.
Mhm.
We could see what life is like for not only the monks in the northern and southern temples, but also the nuns in the western and eastern temples. We could see how their, I guess, like culture appears throughout the year. So we know that they have games. We know that they have, I guess, like festivals or holidays that they celebrate. We could see just like what life was like for them. And I don't know, maybe throw in some sort of like antagonist or plot there, or maybe have another maybe it could be Gyatso. I don't know if he would be alive during that time, but I would totally watch a show about Gyatso.
Oh, I would as well. Absolutely. Like him as a youngster, like right after, who was it that was hanging out with him? Oh, right after Roku, like hangs out with him. That'd be really cool. We just like see more of his antics and see maybe how he learned to make that famous fruit pie.
Exactly. Yep.
Because that's a trial and error thing. That's a labor of love right there, baking. It's an exact science. You got to be good.
And we know he's a great pie show player.
That's true. That's very true.
Yes.
My second thing that I really want to see, it's a little more of an abstract idea, but I would love to see what happens to Sokka's boomerang, but through the point of view almost of the boomerang. So it would be like a series of shorts, and it would just each be centered around the boomerang being passed from one generation to the next. So you probably have it in a fight. Maybe you'd have it with like, I don't know, Sokka's like great grandson or something like that, and he's like kind of polishing it on display. Like, I just want to see I never saw this movie, but I imagine this is what it's like, the red violin, where it's just this violin that kind of goes through time. And it's just all these stories that are focused around Boomerang. And maybe the first one we get is an unseen adventure with Sokka and Team Avatar. Or maybe like when Sokka first gets it, and then it ends with the last member of the bloodline to get it. Something to that effect. It'd be really cool.
I never thought about Boomerang potentially being an heirloom.
Yeah.
Passed down.
He
But
loves it.
It's a weapon if you keep it in good condition, you polish it, you sharpen it. Like it's a weapon. It's going to last a long time.
It's a toy. It's great for everything. It always comes back.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be, my God. No.
Yeah.
I just broke myself. So the last episode of Boomerang is that Boomerang, like, he goes through this adventure, right? It goes from generation to generation, maybe gets lost a little bit. And then the very last episode is it ends up through magic in the universe on Sokka's grave. And it comes back to him.
No.
I just broke Acorn a little bit.
No. But yes.
Yeah.
That's so nice.
Yeah. Right.
Oh, that would be beautiful. And I'm actually thinking about like a short. So maybe 5 minutes long, animated, not like maybe to the full-blown extent of a regular Avatar: The Last Airbender episode, but something that's like minimal and artistic, and it just shows the travels of Boomerang until it finally comes back to Sokka.
And I would love different like Animatrix animation styles too, like not like the Animatrix does, but like just mix it all up, different directors, the whole thing, just like sprinkle it through. So
that'd be fun too. Oh, so actually you could go artistic in one direction, or you could do what The Great Divide did and have different styles for the different parts of the story.
Yeah, I'm thinking also what was it? Halo did it. They did some animated anthology series. It was on Netflix, I think. But something like that, where it's like, it all takes place in the same universe. It's just vastly different animation styles. So exactly like The Great Divide, where you have the very cartoony, very like angular one, and the other one is very soft, a little more realistic. Some might be 3D animation. Some might be that super deformed chibi style that they have in the shorts on the extras for the Blu-ray. Like, nothing is like out of the question, because it's just 5 to 10 minutes. And as long as the story makes sense for the world, the animation style can be whatever. I think that'd be really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love that idea. Good thinking.
Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, you go now.
Oh boy.
Yeah,
my next idea. I think this would also be a show.
Mm-hmm.
It's funny how we keep going back to shows. I think that's just what the medium that we're used to.
Yeah, it's what this series is to us at its core. Our first experience with Avatar, at least you and I think a lot of people, was the animated series. So that's what we're going to default to as the medium, because it makes sense to us. We know what it's like, and we know it works for the world.
Yeah, that's true. I also came up with this idea after thinking about another show that I used to watch. If anyone has seen the Star Wars show Ewoks, this is like early 90s type of show. Used to air super early in the morning, so I'd watch it before school. It was basically just a show about the Ewoks from Star Wars, and the whole focus was on them. It was in their village, all these like little stories that happened with their main cast of characters. Well, I would love to see something like that, but featuring the Swamp Benders.
That'd be amazing. I would love that.
Can you imagine?
I love the Swamp Benders. It's just, I don't think it's a secret. I think I pretty much was just gushing on them during the Swamp episode, but just like, yeah, oh, we just be talking like this too, and we be talking like that too. And just like, and the fact that exists in this like regal fantasy world is just so like, it's funny. It is, pun intended, it grounds the universe, I think, into something that we can like grasp. And the fact that they're amazing waterbenders, they have their own style, like just kind of it, I think, rules out that whole like, you know, quote unquote Hicks or Southerners are dumb and just that's the way they are because they don't talk with like a regional Midwest accent. So I really appreciate that aspect of it too. So yeah.
And for all those reasons, I think that would be a really great and fun show because not only could we see more of the swamp, we could learn more about their style of bending, their culture, how they live. We could learn all about their cat gator pets and how they hunt, and maybe even go to the banyan tree in the center and like maybe a subplot about the mystical aspect of the swamp and how everything's connected and that's like woven in there, but really just like the everyday adventures of the swamp benders. I think that would be a really fun, lighthearted show.
I think so too. That might be actually, I think I would maybe prefer that as a comic, as weird as that feels.
You know what? Yeah, that could also make a really good comic.
Like, I think it'd just be a really interesting kind of thing. Like, I'm just picturing I stop working after a long day and I just crack open a Swamp Benders comic, and while I'm waiting for the next episode of like, I don't know, like Kyoshi's Life or Roku's Life to show up on Paramount Plus, and just like kind of go through that and have a nice like Avatar like evening essentially. I think that'd be really cool. Yeah.
I could absolutely see that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
My brain is now like going back through the episode The Swamp and thinking about all the different locations and all the creepy animals and the different things that we saw about the Swamp Benders. Yeah, there'd be a lot of variety.
Yeah, there would have, absolutely. Yeah.
Especially if someone from the outside world came wandering through.
Oh, I thought you were going to say especially if they're talking about Slim. I think that was his name.
Well, that I couldn't remember his name. Yep, Slim the Cat Gator.
Slim the Cat Gator. So good.
Love it.
Yeah. But like you have like random other people like saunter in, like maybe, oh, what's his name? The professor. Can't remember his name right now.
Yes.
For the life of me.
Professor Wei?
I think that sounds about right. Professor Wei from the university.
Yeah. Boston State University.
Yeah. But yeah, like him like coming through, like, because then we get more of his character kind of, and we kind of see what he's up to. I think a lot of it, like, and this goes to the credit of the original series and the world building that was involved, is we want to see more of these characters that we only saw once or twice. We want to see more what they were like, if they were genuine when we first saw them, or maybe not. Like, we just want more to sink our teeth into. And I think the swamp might be a really good way to do that.
Yeah.
All
right. Awesome. So from here, I will say I'm a little torn about the concept of turning the comics into animated media, but I would really like to see Zuko's search for his mom in a show or theatrical.
The thing with comics, and whenever you're reading a comic adaptation of something that wasn't a comic and it's like expands upon that universe, I always feel a little cheaped out because I'm like, well, I want to hear Dante Basco's voice during this. I want to like feel the emotion and the heartbreak, and I want to see it on a screen, but instead I'm reading it, and I haven't read it yet, but I'm sure it's very well written and the art I'm sure is beautiful. it's just not the medium in which I want to experience this. And I've had the same feeling. Like Supernatural has some great prequel comics, and it's the same thing as like, wow, this is really cool. It's really great art style. It really fits everything, and everything's really good. But it's not the medium that I fell in love with this property. And I think that's going to be one of my big hurdles to kind of get over as we jump into the comics, like Suki Alone or The Search, or even some of like the Kyoshi novels. Like it's going to be the same way for me. I just have to get over this hump and just appreciate that there's more content, because it's also cheaper to make too. So that's how they can expand upon it.
Yeah, I know. And I'm right there with you, because I first fell in love with the show as a show.
Yeah.
And I know that I'm not alone in that. I've never read the comics before. It's one of the reasons why I'm so excited to cover them on the podcast, because I've read like maybe, I don't know, one trade paperback when they were coming out, but I haven't actually read all of them and gotten the whole story. And I know that Zuko's mom's storyline is wrapped up in the comics, but I haven't taken the time to read them because I prefer watching.
Yeah.
And I know I'm not alone. I know a lot of the fan base feels the same way. So for that reason, I think it should be turned into a show, because it would almost like fitting a missing puzzle piece into the Avatar world. It would just flesh it out in a way that I think all the fans would really appreciate.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But like at the same time too, they probably won't do it. Not to like burst on anyone's bubble, not to
Probably
like
not.
throw fruit pie out the window or fruitcake. Like I think that it's there, it exists, it's canon. I think they're gonna move on. Unless they're really hurting for ideas, which I don't think they are, and they'll just kind of rehash it. But we'll see. We'll see. It's something I would love to be wrong about. For sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I know they're going to start with something new first. The first couple projects are probably going to be brand new content.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yep.
Eventually, though, it'd be nice to get some context and some background. Yeah.
My third and final one that I'll be presenting tonight.
Ooh,
I
yes.
would love, and I can't figure out what kind of format I want this in. I want more Chong and the Nomads in my life.
Oh my God, yes.
Now,
yes,
it could be a series. I think that's kind of like the way we've been going. Mostly these are series, and it's just kind of like here and there, and they go little adventures and they meet people, and that's about that. Like I would love an episode where they meet up with Zhao. And Zhao's just like annoyed the whole time. He's just
that would be
amazing.
hilarious.
It'd be so good. Also, if we want to jump into a different medium that we haven't discussed yet, if they don't want to do a series about Chong and the Nomads, I completely get it. At least give me a recorded studio album that I can listen to on Spotify.
Like actually write full-blown
songs, complete with
soundtrack.
Yes, but complete with Chong forgetting lyrics, complete with like him making things up as he goes. Like I'm thinking it's like more of like a comedy skit album with songs in it, kind of like in the vein of like Adam Sandler or Flight of the Conchords or stuff like that. Like I think that would be really good. Yeah.
It's so vivid in my mind, and I never knew I needed that soundtrack in my life, but now I do.
That's what I want. Like right now, and as much as I love this rendition, when I'm working on the doodle page, I throw on, I think his name is Samuel Kim, Leaves from the Vine.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets me kind of moody. So like a lot of my stuff gets a little more artsy than I want it to be, I feel like lately. But I want just that comedy Avatar. Like just put on, listen to, have a laugh, work on my doodle page, and then like, release it. Like it would be, I think, a cheaper way as well to kind of get more Avatar content out there and not have you stuck to watching a TV screen or reading a book. It's just kind of like more ways for Avatar to be a part of your life, and maybe a more passive way.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I can hear him messing up now in my head too.
Yep.
Singing the lyrics, in the spring.
I forget the rest of the words, but then it just goes like spring into action. Something like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
So good. Okay, so I'm going to present one now that I don't really have a backstory in mind, but I think there's a lot of opportunity here. And it's the Siege of Ba Sing Se.
Ooh, okay.
So it's obviously a little bit more political, a little
Yep.
bit more actiony, maybe more like warlike. A lot of the ideas we've talked about so far are kind of like fun and fluffy, but I think there's something to be had here story-wise because a lot went down during the Siege of Ba Sing Se, and we might get a chance to get some more context about the person that Iroh was before his fall, before he turned into Zuko's primary parental figure.
Yeah. Yeah. I would actually even love the major moments throughout Ba Sing Se and like have this be like maybe they spend 2 or 3 episodes on each individual moment. So we'll see more of Kyoshi when she created by accident the Dai Li. Like see more of that, even though we know what happens if we got like the summary, we got the cliff notes of it, right? But I want to see more of that. Maybe not from Kyoshi's point of view, maybe from a guard's point of view, something like that. But yeah, like that, and then you could get the siege of Ba Sing Se with Iroh and all of that, and you can get actually like when Ba Sing Se actually gets taken over by the Fire Nation, like all of that stuff. That'd be a really cool way to expand upon it.
Maybe a cool way to do it actually is to have 2 main characters. One, a Ba Sing Se citizen, the other, a Fire Nation soldier.
Ooh.
And you follow the both of them and you learn about either side. So it ends up being this like morally gray situation where you completely understand and empathize with the Fire Nation for what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
It might be kind of difficult because they basically are like, bring the walls down. Let's take the city over.
Yeah.
But if you were able to like, I don't know, humanize that somehow and then follow the Ba Sing Se citizen on their side and go through like what life is like and what that period of like attack would be like. I don't know. It could be interesting.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Compare and contrast.
For sure. I just thought of a 4th idea.
Oh, okay.
I just want more Boomy. Just give me more Boomy. That's all I want. I don't care in what format. Just like, I don't even care if it's a Boomy comedy album. Just give me something. Or The Adventures of Boomy and the Coughing Guard.
Oh my God. Well, okay. So I'm going to run with this.
Yeah.
Because you brought it up.
Yeah.
I could see, the problem is this would work better on like live cable television.
Yeah.
But like sometimes they have those like super shorts in between.
Yeah.
Like, commercial break. And then in between there's like this moment. Actually Adult Swim kind of does this with their like Adult Swim videos that they make.
Yep.
But you have like a commercial, then you have a mini short 10 seconds long of Boomy in a situation. He's like sitting in his throne room. There's silence for a couple seconds. And then he like looks up at his guard and then says just this dumb, funny line, just a joke.
Yep.
And then like, that's it. It's just these like random moments of him in Omashu.
But I'm very like retrospective right now, but like what if it's throughout their life? So what if we see Boomy from childhood after Aang leaves all the way to when Aang returns, and it's just Boomy and the Coughing Guard and they're like childhood friends. So it's like every little short is just like a different part of their life. And it's always ends with Boomy with a bad joke and that guard or that kid or his friend just going every time.
It's out there, but I like it.
Yeah. So
I like it a lot.
That's my final idea, but that was a surprise
Love
one.
it.
It wasn't as fully fleshed out as the other ones, but it just on the spot, live. You're all welcome.
It's good.
Yeah.
It's good. It's quality. Give us a listen. Avatar Studios got some great
We
content
got
here.
so many ideas.
Okay. I have one more, and then we're going to wrap this month's episode of AvaTalk. This is also my most favorite idea. I'm going to make another reference that's a little bit dated, but I know that it was on air for a very, very, very long time. If you've ever seen Reading Rainbow, there's this big focus on a guide taking you on a tour of a subject. So there is an episode about space. And so they'll talk about a book that's about space. They'll go have a conversation with someone who studies space. And it's like very educational, but like it's kind of like story time almost. All right. So what if there was a show featuring Wan Shi Tong? And the whole point of it is it's Wan Shi Tong in his library, and he's teaching you about the world of Avatar, subject by subject.
I love it. Oh, what if here? I'm just very dark tonight. I don't know what it is. What if it's Wan Shi Tong teaching Zhao the history of the world?
That is pretty dark.
Not knowing that he's going to betray him and burn down like quarter of the library.
Yeah.
Or like maybe not Zhao, but maybe like a Fire Nation, just like soldier that Wan Shi Tong doesn't have a good read off of or something.
Yeah, depends on how you'd approach it. Because initially I was thinking like the breaking of the fourth wall. Like Wan Shi Tong would face the camera and talk directly to us and say, today I will tell you about the history of, I don't know, the Shady Palm Oasis or whatever the name officially is.
Yeah.
But then he could like go through a story. You'd cut to like this little animation sequence where it illustrates the story. His little foxy spirit helpers could like bring books to him. He could travel around the library and show you different parts that you didn't get to see in the actual episode of Avatar. There's so much possibility. And I would love to learn more about the world of Avatar through Wan Shi Tong. Because he's kind of grouchy and like straightforward, right?
Yeah. He doesn't like strike me as the type that enjoys company, so I can kind of see him very reluctant to do it, but like he feels it's his duty to like pass his knowledge on at this point. So
exactly.
Yeah. That'd be great.
I do like that idea that I see in chat. Gigabyte suggested that Professor Zay is that person.
That's his name. But he might be dead.
Might be, but it could be set through the lens of like him being a professor at Boston State University. So he's giving you lessons. Also, the reason that works is because if you think about Journey to Atlantis, Milo starts out the movie
Disney's
giving a
Atlantis.
presentation.
Yeah.
Milo starts out giving a presentation to stand-ins for like the board of directors or whatever in his like little boiler room. And he's like going through the whole spiel, and he has the same kind of like frenetic, frantic
energy,
type of energy that Zay does. He
absolutely does.
So I love that idea.
That's a really good one. Yeah. Well, I think we're out of ideas. We're out of things to talk about for this episode. So it is. Thank you everyone for hanging out. I know we're at a different channel now. I know we're on my channel. So anyone watching the YouTube, I sound like I'm 55 years old. Anyone watching YouTube after the fact, the YouTube
using the wiffies.
And maybe you went over to twitch.tv/the Geek Generation. At least for now, for the foreseeable future, the AvaTalk monthly series is going to be over at twitch.tv/BoosterGreg on Friday nights at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The time hasn't changed. The day hasn't changed. It's just where it is.
Last Friday of the month.
What did I say? The first one?
I think you just said Friday.
Oh, yeah. Last Friday of the month. Sorry. My brain's starting to shut off, which isn't great because there's more stream coming after this. So stay tuned for that. Anyways, everyone, thank you all so much for hanging out. We super appreciate each and every one of you. If you're watching this live, if you're watching it after the fact, if you're a patron, if you're not a patron, if you're just listening casually to us in the background while you're doing work, we appreciate everyone. We are one follower away on Spotify from 5K. So thank you. We'll do like an official, like, we're super excited about this, like on this show so everyone else can listen to it. But we want to take the time to let you know that who's watching this extra content that we love you all and we're super appreciative. We wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So that's all I got. I'm going to press the fancy button. It's probably going to blow your eardrums out, and I apologize. Okay, bye for now.